Hello and welcome back to the Genesis Designs and Modelcraft bench, and to a new segment that I've decided to call Chatterbox. New to the channel, but not a new concept, simply exactly what it says on the box, me chatting. So I wanted a way to do things like reactions to comments on my videos now and again, little things, little bits and bobs, maybe reviews that are a bit too small to perhaps have their own video, like this here. Things like if I see a news item and want to chat about it, all that kind of thing. So here it is, Chatterbox. So first things first, I need to have a huge shout out and a thanks to my workmate and friend Chris Trenchard, who designed or made the little thumbnail for this in minutes seemingly, because he understands how to work computer programs a lot better than me. But he made that, so thanks very much to him for that. And on we go. So first things first, if anybody is like me and likes to have a coffee or a tea at the bench now and again, and then promptly forgets to drink it so that it always goes cold, this is an absolute lifesaver. A Yeti mug. I got this in the States and it was quite expensive. It's an absolute lifesaver because you can stick your coffee in here and you can be drinking it for an hour or more, probably two even. It does really genuinely stays hot for quite a long time. Sips coffee. So Yeti mugs are the way forward. Anyway, what have we got here? A couple of little bits and pieces for you. Firstly, let's look at these. So I found a little app on my phone called Temu or Temu. I'll just show it to you. It's this one here. And it's just one of these silly little shopping apps. There you go. And then it seems like the stuff comes direct from China and they just sell everything. And I mean just everything, and it's all very, very cheap. And on there I found these. Just makeup brushes, Jen, what the hell? They are just makeup brushes. But in here we've got 30 pieces, 30 of these double-ended, I think they are eyeshadow thingies, and they cost about 89 pence. I'm sure it was 89 pence for that whole packet. And I'm sure you're wondering what the significance of those is and why anybody should be bothered, and it's these. I quite like these. I don't use them as much as I did, but part of the reason for that is that this happens. So Tamiya provide the modeller with a little sponge tipped applicator on one end and a little brush on the other, and when applied with the sponge applicator, these weathering pastels are really quite nice. They're quite controllable, quite easy to use, but I haven't found a way of applying them yet that works as well as the sponge applicator does. And as you can see, both of the ones I have, I mean that one it's gone all together, and in that one I've lost the sponge. So I was quite happy to find an entire pack of applicators for 89 pence, especially now because you can, if you have multiple applicators like this, you can have one per colour instead of having a mixture every time. The other thing is these are from the same place, again horribly cheap. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to use them for yet, but these, quite bizarrely to be honest, are transparent Post-it notes. So you've got a fairly large area with adhesive on it, and they're sort of like a plasticised paper. They're almost plastic and they are quite transparent, and I had it in mind that they could be useful for making simple masks with, and for placing simple masks with. Not sure, but again, for a very minimal investment, I thought they might be worth a look. Transparent Post-it notes. I can't really see any traditional Post-it note application where a transparent one would be a good thing, but there you go. Anyway, for the rest of this one, I've got one other thing to talk about, but first let's have a look at this. So this is part of the ever expanding, seemingly, Airfix Vintage Classic range, the little Auster 8OP9, and this is in Antarctic, guys. It's done in the style of the old boxes. It's got the old artwork on it. It's got the painting diagram on the back of the box, as they ever were back in the day. And what you get in the box, and ceremoniously dump it all out, is one big bag with stretch sprue with that as well, with all the parts. There aren't many. You see why I didn't think this was worth doing a review on by itself. These are obviously the original old school parts. There are not many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 36. 36 parts. And there you go. That's your Auster. It does include floats. So for those of you that have a strange obsession with seaplanes like myself, there is a float option. They do have olden days raised rivets on it, which would be worthy of the Titanic, honestly, as a pilot figure. And it's all just a little bit crude and lumpy, but it's sort of nostalgic whilst it's doing it. There is some evidence of mould damage. This tailplane in particular has got a lot of scratches on it, but it's not that bad considering. How old are these moulds? 1959. There you go. Got the right way up. Airfix Products Limited, copyright 1959, and when you bear that in mind, you really can't argue these moulds. And the big weak point of this kit would have been, no doubt, the transparencies would have either been terrible or lost or damaged, or all three. So what Airfix did when they decided to reissue this particular kit is retool the transparencies. So in here is a completely retooled transparency sprue. Perfectly adequate it is too, which is nice. That out of the way. And then in terms of instructions and decals, this is possibly the worst use of paper space I've ever seen in my life. This could have been an A5 slip or an A5 booklet, but that's it. That is the instructions reproduced in their original form and just put into this modern booklet. Skis, wheels, floats. So actually your completed model will probably be about 25 parts, depending which version of undercarriage you prefer. The decals are of course up to the modern standard of Airfix, which is excellent. And a somewhat more comprehensive sheet than I suspect the original would have been, because it's got stencils and such on it. Because I've heard that the Airfix decal designer's got a penchant for stencils. Don't tell anyone. I think he's got a problem personally. There you go. That's the decal sheet. And you can have all of this for the princely sum of £6.99. Yes, that's right, £6.99. What an excellent deal. Yes, it's very basic and old-fashioned, but for those of us that were modelling back in the 70s as kids, these kind of kits have a certain appeal to them, especially when they're not expensive. I felt that some of the other re-releases, the Domini is one that I bought, and I did think it was a bit expensive, to be honest, for what you got. This one not so much. So there, Auster Antarctic. What a glorious little thing, and a nice addition. And talking of Airfix, this week they have done the shock announcement of a new tool, 48 scale Sea King. Very, very welcome, no doubt, to a lot of people. The Sea King is a much loved aircraft. And the Hasegawa kit is, I mean, it is decent, and actually prices have dropped back on that in the last year or two, but it's still very, very hard to get hold of. And it isn't hugely detailed. It's a good representation for sure, but it's not super detailed at all. And like I say, expensive and difficult to get hold of, so a very, very welcome addition to the range. And I think the mooted retail price is only £55, which seems quite reasonable to me. Sea King's quite large when it's all put together. I'm very, very gutted that I was unable to attend the press day. I did have an invite, but I couldn't go due to work commitments because they will insist on having them in the week. So yeah, a bit gutted that I missed that, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. Hopefully I'll get my hands on one relatively soon and be able to bring you some sort of review on it. And finally, just a quick one, my All My Hobby Hurricane review that went up last week or just a little over a week ago. And there was one comment in particular on there that where the user mentioned that they were interested in the kit and had hoped to buy one, but were monumentally put off by the wing root damage shown on my kit and the potential for that to cause issues in the build. And that is a fair comment. As a point to note, a friend in the model club also bought one of these, not from React, from a model shop, and he also has damaged wing roots. But I have started the build as encouraged by you guys, and here is the main wing. This is what I've worked on so far. I've literally just put the undercarriage bay together. I stuck it into the upper wing, and it's quite lovely. It fits together beautifully. And I then taped the wing together for transport and storage back here at home until I can work on it some more. And I just wanted to point out, here is the right hand side wing root. I employ some tweezers so my fingers don't get in the way. That is not an issue. That has sat back into place without any trouble. I haven't tried too hard on this one yet. But this is the way to do it. If you have this issue, is just gently tease it back into place. There you go. Live. In real time, that just pushes back into place without any trouble. And I would recommend using small amounts of super glue to adhere it whilst you're doing this. Don't use plastic cement because this area here is very, very thin, and if you're trying to squeeze something together and use plastic glue at the same time, what happens is you make a mess. You run the risk of melting it and squeezing out plastic all over the place. So I'd recommend using CA to hold that in. Just pop a little bit of CA in, press it in, hold it for a few seconds and you're done. So as you can see, very irritating, it's annoying, no it shouldn't be like that, but it doesn't cause an issue with the putting together of the kit as long as you're careful. And that's what I wanted to show you. So there you go, that's the first edition of Chatterbox. This is the kind of haul that we're going to get. I do have a heap of content coming up, guys. I know I've been quiet for the last couple of months. I've been very, very busy at work. I've had a lot going on. Been away out of the country as well, and I haven't had either time or honestly the motivation to be at the bench very much, so I haven't got a lot done. That's changing. I've been working really hard. I've got the Bare Naked Build 2 is done, it's finished. It is the Italeri F35B, that will be coming very soon. I'm just waiting on the thumbnail for that. And then I have also proceeded to carry on and finish that model. I say finish, it's not quite finished yet, I'm doing decals at the moment, in a silly what if scheme. I hope to have that finished in the next several days and potentially exhibit the finished model at the IPMS Avon show, which is coming up next weekend. So if anybody's around or attending that show, do pop by and say hello. I'll be displaying various bits and pieces with some friends under the auspices of the Royal Air Force Prize Norton Scale Modelling Club. So come and say hi, have a look at the lightning and just generally have a chat. It'd be lovely to see you all. And yes, I have a lot of reviews stacked up as well. I have, let me think, 6 or 7 kit reviews stacked up ready to slot in as and when the schedule allows. And finally, the biggest thing I've been waiting to do all flipping year. I can't believe it's taken so long to be able to get into it. but I am going to start the big Airfix 124 Spitfire build in the next week or two as well. So lots coming up on Genesis through the autumn and into the winter. So yeah, there you go. That's it. The first ever Chatterbox. There will be more. I do like to chat. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the likes, the comments, the subs and the coffees. I hope to see some of you at the weekend. And with that said, it only remains for me to say, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.